time, I'd like to make a little special presentation. The board would like to recognize Mr. Jim Adkins. So, come on up, Jim, while I read some things about you. Board of Education has the Leadership in Education Award, and we would like to recognize Jim Adkins for this, for his commitment to the students of Louisville City Schools. Jim is instrumental in leading the implementation of our new security program, Navigate Prepared. Mr. Adkins began his career with Louisville City Schools as an assistant principal at Louisville High School. Currently serves the district as the assistant principal at Louisville Middle School. We're proud of the work that you have done, Jim, to enrich the educational experience and the overall well-being of the students in this district. The path to excellence is a journey, and we look forward to your continued success. Congratulations, Jim. Oh, yeah, how about Jim's family standing up and be recognized? We know a lot of support there.
Actually, I'll introduce them. That's my lovely wife, Erin, my 8th grade son, Joey, my 4th grade son, Daniel. Recognize Derek. My oldest son, who's a senior at Ohio State, is on an internship at Hilton Head, so unfortunately for us, fortunately for him, he couldn't be here. And my sophomore son's actually umpiring a baseball game tonight, so we found out about half an hour ago he couldn't be here, so I'm glad these ones are with me.
Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations again to Jim and certainly to his family. At this time, I would ask that we adopt the following agenda for the regular meeting.
So moved.
Thank you. Moved and seconded that we adopt the agenda for this evening. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Dr. Ainsley-Imro?
Yes.
Mr. Antonacy?
Yes.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Sigler?
Yes. Okay, you see before you some resignations, some hires.
Just a couple things, if I can say that, Mr. Ziegler there. Just want to say, give our best wishes to a couple of people who will be leaving us. Garth Evans is actually going to become an administrator in another district, so we wish him the best of luck. Angel Kuzmitz is leaving us to move a little closer to home. She has a pretty long drive, and Jordan Witter is going back to his home school where he grew up also. He actually still has some brothers in the school system that he'll be teaching, so, and he's gonna coach also. So we wish them all the best of luck. The other thing I'd like to bring to your attention under our hiring, I'd like to introduce to you Matthew Stanley, who's back there. Matthew, you wanna give them a wave? Okay. Matthew is going to be recommended as the assistant principal at Louisville Elementary. Can you give you a little bit about Matthew? A 5th grade reading and social studies teacher at Kansas City Schools Belton Leadership School. Mr. Stanley has also taught at Plain Local in Tusky Valley. In his current role, he served as a lead teacher and building technology liaison and conducted professional development training in the areas of instruction, grading, and assessment. He earned a Bachelor's of Science degree in middle education from the University of Akron and a Master's in Educational Leadership from Malone University. In 2015, he received a principal license for grades K through 6, 4 through 9, and 7 through 12. He brings a wealth of curricular understanding to the role of the assistant principals, and he shined in the interview. So we are very, very fortunate to have him here at Louisville Schools, and we look forward to many years with you.
Very good. Do you want to mention the callback also? It's also on our agenda.
Yeah, Ashley Nielsen, who was a teacher for us over at North Nim. We thought we were gonna have to riff that position, but our numbers went up at Louisville Elementary, so we added that kindergarten teacher position, so she'll be transferred over there.
Have a motion for the consent agenda as presented. Thank you, Brenda.
Second.
Second. Any discussion on the motion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Antoni?
Yes.
Dr. Angela Amaro?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
And Mark Sigler?
Yes. Okay, Gary.
All right, I'd like to recommend the Louisville Board of Education approve the presentation of records, including the approval of minutes, presentation of financial reports, and the approval of invoices for payment as presented.
So moved.
Thank you. Second. Thank you, Mike. We have a motion for the records as presented. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Dr. Angela Amaro?
Yes.
Mr. Antoni?
Yes.
Mr. Sigler?
Yes.
I'd like to recommend the Louisville Board of Education approve the revenue budget revisions for fiscal year 2017 as presented on Exhibit T1.
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. Discussion on budget revisions?
Not a lot there, just some final tweaks. This is really the last adjustments for the fiscal year 17 budget. So a few tweaks on the revenue side, and you'll see the next one on the expenditure side as well.
Very good. Any other questions? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Antoni?
Yes.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Dr. Angela Amaro?
Yes.
Mr. Sigler?
Yes.
I'd like to recommend the Louisville Board of Education approve the permanent appropriation revisions for fiscal year 2017 as presented on Exhibit T2.
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you, Brenda. Any discussion on the permanent appropriation? Call the roll, please.
Dr. Angela Amaro?
Yes.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Antoni?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
And Mr. Sigler?
Yes.
I'd like to recommend the Louisville Board of Education approve the revenue budget revisions for fiscal year 2018 as presented on Exhibit T3.
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. Moved and seconded. Any questions on the budget revisions?
Just quickly, this is the first revision for the upcoming fiscal year that'll start July 1st. The revenue budget process started back in January with the tax budget, and then with the resolution we passed in March, accepting the tax rates. So that's the first column there, and then the revisions to get to where we need to be for the start of the fiscal year.
Call the roll, please.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mr. Antoni?
Yes.
Dr. Angela Amaro?
Yes.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Sigler?
Yes.
I'd like to recommend the Louisville Board of Education approve the permanent appropriation resolution for fiscal year 2018 as presented on Exhibit T4.
Second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Likewise, this is the expenditure budgets for the year. We start off with the permanent to cover the entire fiscal year, July 1st through June 30th of 2018.
Call the roll. I'm sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Derek, am I looking at this correctly when I see that right now, the way that we're expecting the general fund to be in the red or going the way it is now without any revisions going forward? Not the overall budget, but just for the general fund.
Right, this is the revenue budgets that we have on the previous recommendation and the appropriations on this one correlate to the 5-year forecast that was passed last month. So based on those estimates, we are looking at some deficit spending in fiscal year 18.
I just want to make sure I was looking at it.
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Antoni?
Yes.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Sigler?
Yes.
Dr. Angela Amaro? Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
I'd like to recommend the Louisville Board of Education approve the purpose clause budget statements for the 2017-18 school year as presented on Exhibit T5.
So moved. Second?
Thank you. Any questions on the purpose clause budget statement?
This is the majority for the year. There's a few stragglers out there, a couple of spring sports, for next year, but this is the majority. Again, we bring these to you to approve them as an activity or sport. And then their fundraising budgets correlate based on what's approved in these budget purpose statement plus.
Any other questions? Call roll, please.
Dr. Angelino?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mr. Sigler?
Yes.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Macy?
Yes.
I'd like to recommend the Louisville Board of Education approve an inter-fund transfer from the general fund to the Uniform School Supplies Fund in the amount of $32,727.27.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on the transfer?
Just a quick explanation, all of our student fees and the expenditures for those fees are taken out of our 009 or accounted for in our 009 fund. As you're aware, we don't charge those students that are on free and reduced, so that creates a deficit in that balance. So we're just transferring the cash from the general fund to cover that deficit.
Comments, questions? Call roll, please.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mr. Macy?
Yes.
Dr. Ainsley Amaro?
Yes.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
And Mr. Sigler?
Yes.
I'd like to recommend the Louisville Board of Education authorize the treasurer to use an online auction for the sale of used surplus items through Gov Deals, an online auction facilitator for the 2017-18 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the Gov Deal?
We've used this service for the
Right.
past few years, so we approve it each year. We use it occasionally as the need arises.
Are we able to dispose of things on it? I mean, like everything that you put on it, is anything left over at the end of the auction?
It honestly depends. Like, we've had some good success on it. I know we had like some wrestling mats that we put on there and didn't have a lot of
Understood.
interest on that. So we try, because you never know what the interest is out there. But
Yeah. Okay.
Is there a reason that we are doing that in the summer and not as a part of our organizational meeting?
Now, we've just done it usually for the fiscal year. It's something that we could look at.
Doesn't matter to me, I just
Yeah.
wonder why that can't be
I
done.
know.
All right. Call roll, please.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
Dr. Ainsley Amaro?
Yes.
Mr. Macy?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
And Mr. Sigler?
Yes.
I'd like to recommend the Louisville Board of Education approve the resolution to participate in the cooperative school bus purchase program offered through the Stark County Council of Governments as presented on Exhibit T8.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the proposal? This just puts us into the advertising.
Correct, yep, this should look normal. Each summer, the Stark County Council of Governments puts out a bid for countywide. This gets us, this resolution gets us into the program. It doesn't commit us to making any purchases, but obviously we have to bid for all of those busing units. So if we want to purchase one, this is the way to go.
What do we anticipate this year? Purchases?
I had budgeted the purchase of one out of the general fund in the 5-year forecast, so we're looking at least one. I put 1 to 4 in here. I know a couple years ago we did at least for 4, so we'll keep looking at that.
Any other questions on the agreement? Call the roll, please.
Dr. Ainsley Amaro?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mr. Macy? Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Sigler?
Yes.
I'd like to recommend the Louisville Board of Education approve the administrative compensation guidelines as presented on Exhibit T7.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion?
You have copies in front of you. I sent them out to you previously, and I mean, we've had discussions on this previously as well. Basically, where we are, in the past, there hasn't been any structured salary schedule for our administrators. 2 years ago, the board approved salaries for administrators for a 2-year period, which expires at the end of July. So we're looking at what to do moving forward. Basically, we looked at updating our current guidelines. There were some guidelines, so we updated those, which includes insurance, leaves, mileage, severance, and the likes. And then also included now is a salary schedule for our certified and classified administrators.
Any questions, comments?
I mean, we did put in some parameters too. I mean, as far as we're looking at, especially like for the certified, we're looking at the aggregate increase of what the teachers get, from one year to the other. And we have parameters that the administrators are gonna get an aggregate increase more than what the teachers are. Likewise, with the classified staff, we're looking at, or the classified administrators, we're looking at the OC contract as well, so that we can keep within those parameters. If that makes sense.
Well, and I appreciate your comment for the public that this is something that we have been working on. Very good. Any other questions on the compensation guideline? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Antonisi?
Yes.
Dr. Reeves-Lamro?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
And Mr. Sigler?
Yes.
I'd like to recommend the Louisville Board of Education approve the following students for transportation in lieu for fiscal year 2017 and contingent upon meeting all the necessary requirements.
So moved?
Second.
Thank you. Moved and second for transportation in lieu of. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Antonisi?
Yes.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
Dr.
Yes.
Reeves-Lamro? Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
And Mr. Sigler?
Yes.
I'd like to recommend the Louisville Board of Education authorize the treasurer to enter into contract with Dominion Retail, Inc., doing business as Dominion Energy Solutions for natural gas service for the period of September 1st, 2017 through August 31st, 2019, at a fixed cost of $3.03 per DTH for transport accounts and $3.38 per DTH for choice accounts.
So moved?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on this?
Our current contract is a
Contract.
2-year, we're coming off of that August 31st. I originally had, reached out to them a while back. I had this on the board agenda on Friday, the market wasn't looking good, so I pulled it. I was in contact again with them this morning, and the market dropped, so we're trying to jump on these rates and lock those in for the next 2 years.
Where were we for the previous rates?
For let's see, the transport accounts, the 288, so it is an increase of what we had. It's looking, based on our usage, that it would be a total increase between both accounts of about $1,800 for the entire year. But those are still way lower than what we had, previous to the one that's expiring here. Yeah, the market's still favorable.
Was that the best contract, best term?
Yes, they gave me a 1 year and a 2 year, and it was best to go with the 2 year. Yeah.
Very good. Appreciate your work on that.
Sure.
Call the roll, please.
Dr. Reeves-Lamro?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Antonisi?
Yes.
Mr. Sigler?
Yes.
I'd like to recommend the Louisville Board of Education approve the donations as listed.
So moved?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments, questions on the donations? Sir?
Yeah. We obviously appreciate those. Let me just read through them. Alliance Country Club for tennis balls, $296.64. $1,000 for the Ambassadors Program from Altman Hospital, and $1,500 for the football program in memory of Don Miller from O.D. Miller.
Appreciate that, and John's family as well. Call the roll, please.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Dr. Reeves-Lamro?
Yes.
Mr. Antonisi?
Yes.
And Mr. Sigler?
Yes.
Thank you much.
Thank you, Derek. And Michelle, Superintendent's agenda.
Item number 1, recommend the Louisville Board of Education do a first reading of the Neola Board Policy 7530.01V1 cell phone. And item number 2, recommend the Louisville Board of Education do a second reading of the Neola Board Policies as presented on Exhibit S1. And item number 3, recommend the Louisville Board of Education adopt the Neola Board Policies as presented on Exhibit S2.
So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded for the policy adoption. Discussion?
We will have some more policies coming up. Probably we'll need to get back together in August and look at some new ones that will need to be added.
This includes that policy that we had on the drag board number.
Yes.
They're very aware of that. All right with that. I don't like that.
But it's still option or a choice. It's not mandatory, it just gives the board a choice in the appointment of the member to DRAG.
You're right, you're right. Yeah, I won't argue that, just so the board's aware that, you know, I think the DRAG board has taxing authority. And so, I just, you know, we wanna be sure that they are accountable and responsible to this community and this board. And I guess I would just say that with, you know, and I believe, you know, the board would be cognizant of that and take those necessary steps if, in fact, they put somebody there that was not an elected board member. So, that's my concern. But, full faith in that happening, so we'll call the question. Please.
The one I had to read multiple times was the, like a student going to a parochial school that didn't offer a sport.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had to read that over and over again. That second
Right.
scenario was confusing to me, the way it was written. I had an email typed out to say, and when I read it like the fifth time, it kind of worked.
You know, we've had these conversations over the years. For example, bus, you know, the parents are paying their taxes, you know, the exact same as us. And so, you know, and I guess if this gives a kid an opportunity, gives a student an opportunity that they might not have at another school, then that's great. That's my view.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. Call the roll, please, Derek.
Mr. Macy?
Yes.
Dr. Ainsley Monroe?
Yes.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
And Mr. Sigler?
Yes.
Item number 4, recommend the Louisville Board of Education approve the settlement agreement and release of claims and the resignation from employment effective May 31st, 2017 for Jody Dasco.
So moved.
Second.
Is that you, Brenda? Second?
Yeah.
Frank, okay. Moved and seconded to approve the settlement agreement. Discussion? It's not how I wanted this to come out. What happens if this doesn't pass?
I think you need to finish your vote and then we can talk from there.
Well, we're in discussion now. We have a motion and a second, and we're in discussion right now, so. I haven't called the question yet. Call the roll.
Mr. Macy?
Yes.
Dr. Ainsley Monroe?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Sigler?
No.
Item number 5,
4,
recommend.
I'm sorry, 4 yes, 1 no. Motion carries.
Item number 5, recommend the Louisville Board of Education approve the settlement agreement and release of claims and the resignation from employment effective May 31st, 2017 for Laura Esposito.
So moved.
discussion? I'm gonna repeat myself. This is not the way I wanted this to come. Call roll, please.
Dr. Angelini? Dr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mr. Antonesi?
Yes.
Mr. Sigler?
No. 1 no, 4 yes, motion carries. Okay, we have some announcements, 2 of them. Next regular meeting of this Board of Education will be Monday, July 10th, just a couple of weeks, here at the board offices, 407, at 7 p.m. And the second thing I'd like to share is, do we have anybody from the press here? This is just a note that the board has been made aware that there's been a recent postings and literature opposing the library levy. Purported to be from a member of this Board of Education. We want to make it very clear that the Board of Education speaks as an entity. And through our minutes, if you're not actually at a meeting where you hear us speak, you can always go to the meetings and see exactly what was said and how it was recorded and who voted how. No individual board member speaks for this Board of Education. As president of the board, I am extremely cautious. I have 1 vote, the same as every other member here, and we only have those votes when we are in session at a called public meeting. It's the only time we have a vote. As I said, I'm extremely cautious. I may say something like, we hope the Leopards do great in the state band competition, as an example. I can say that and I think you all support me in saying that as president of the board. It's it's kind of a statement of unanimity and, that we all, of acclamation that we all would agree to. If it was into a subject matter or something like that, we don't do that. We discuss that here at the table and vote accordingly. So, for those of you that are wondering, the board speaks here and we speak as a unit with the way that our votes are cast. And I just want to make that clear. Okay. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to recommend that we enter into an executive session for Ohio Revised Code 121.22. We'll discuss employment dismissal, discipline of a public employee, or discuss legal matters or other matters required to be kept confidential by federal law or rules or state statutes. We do not expect to take any action upon exiting executive session. And at this time, I would ask for that motion.
Hey, Mr. Sigler, before you guys enter into executive session, just to, as not a member of the press, but I feel I do need to be responsible, in the comment that you had just made, are you saying that I want to make sure that I get this completely correct, that it was not a member of the board that did draft and disperse that document?
What did I say?
I
didn't. I said that.
No, I know, you did not say anything. I just want to take care of what is out there for the public on the LAC site, and if that was not a board member, then I would like to pull it, so I just want to make sure.
My statement was, it was not a statement of the board.
Of the board, okay, okay.
Very well.
That's all I'm asking. Could have been an
Could be or
individual.
is a board member. It
Okay.
is not a statement of this board.
Okay, thank you very much. I just want to clarify to make sure I'm getting it all
That it's not
correctly.
an individual board member.
Thank you, appreciate that.
I still need a motion for
Sorry.
executive session. Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion seconded for executive session. Call the roll, please.
Dr. Thomas?
Yes. 7:35. Okay, thank you for coming.